I'm John Batchelor. This is the John Batchelor Show. Inspector Bliss is on the line in California. We're following the murder investigation of Ronnie Chasen, 64 years old, shot to death after midnight in Beverly Hills in a Mercedes after a Hollywood event. Ronnie Chasen, very, very popular in Hollywood, buried, memorialized by all the major studios within these last 40 hours. There are more clues now. The Beverly Hills Police Department, some of which we've put on air, and two pieces of which we have not, because they are theories that have been developed by investigators. Jeff, we've followed the trail to say that she was by herself, shot to death, late at night, multiple gunshot wounds, broken out passenger window, possibly a motorcycle delivery. Explain how this all fits together in the pattern we have so far from investigators who have experience with professional hits.
Well, here's what we know. She's driving her Mercedes coupe on Sunset Boulevard heading west out toward the coast, away from Hollywood where she was just at a party. She gets to Whittier Drive, which is an intersection with Sunset Boulevard. It's about 6 miles from the hotel where the party was. And she's going to make a left-hand turn onto Whittier, and that's how she's going to get home that night to her high-rise condo. At about that time, when she hits the intersection, shots ring out. She's shot 5 times in the torso, the chest, and her car travels down Whittier Drive just a short ways and veers off the road and hits a street light, which knocks it over. Airbag deploys. Neighbors come out. They try to talk to her, help her out. She's bleeding profusely. She's still alive at the time, but according to both police and people who were on the scene, she's slipping in and out of consciousness.
Let me stop you there, Jeff. So she's turning left, and you slow to turn, but you don't stop. You slow to turn, so the car's still rolling. What we have here is a vehicle comes up to her right, shoots 5 times through the passenger window, and it hits her, and the car continues to roll, hits a light pole, it falls over, airbags deploy, and that's where an eyewitness finds her calling through the broken window, "Are you okay?" Ronnie is bleeding profusely, not dead yet, Ronnie Chasen, the victim. And then the police arrive. What does that describe, Jeff? That kind of sophisticated, well-timed murder.
Well, you hit it right on the button. Sophisticated and well-timed. And this is what has been developing as we've gone along and been talking about this. This was not a random shooting. This was not a robbery. Her purse wasn't taken. And it was a very controlled, very well-trained, disciplined shooter who killed her, putting all the shots into the center mass of her body and doing it on the move through a darkened tinted window. So that tells you about something. Originally they were saying they thought it was a person shooting down from an SUV.
Right.
But the theory that seems to be developing now is perhaps this was from a motorcycle. And we've seen previous assassinations, murders, whatever you want to call them in LA, where people, organized crime or professional killers have done this in teams where one drives and one sits in the back and then shoots down into the car, into the other vehicle, and kills somebody. And a former FBI agent was talking about it today. He says, this is what happens. He goes, I'm speculating because we don't have all the evidence in yet, but what usually happens is you have a scout, a tracker, and a wet man. In other words, the person who does the killing. And so what happens is a person drives ahead, checks the area, makes sure there's no witnesses, no problems. There's a tracker following the victim. And then at the time of opportunity or with a targeted time, they call in the wet person, the killer. They come in and do the job, then everybody goes their separate ways.
All right.
There was no bullets found in the area.
Right.
There was no damage aside from the window to the car, which shows you it was a good shooter. And it was all done in her center mass, as I mentioned. She was all shot in the torso-chest area.
Oh, Jeff Bliss of the Bliss Index reporting on the murder of Ronnie Chasen. We do not have a strong lead. We do not have a suspect. We don't have any shell casings. We do have a working theory by Inspector Bliss. I'm John Batchelor. There will be more. This is the John Batchelor Show.